Organisations say that today's decision by the High Court judge that Sadiq Khan's expansion of the ULEZ scheme to outer London is lawful could penalise more than 700,000 motorists.
The scheme has been given the green light for August the 29th, and both the AA and RAC say it will unfairly target poorer households and the elderly. The AA said the London Mayor instead needs to look at how both Birmingham and Oxford have organised their clean air zones.
Well, the legal action brought by 5 Conservative-led councils back in February over the proposal to extend the scheme beyond the North and South Circular Roads. Let's speak now to the leader of the Climate Party, Ed Gemmell, who can join us. Ed, clearly legal, but perhaps still not popular.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I think it's not popular, although let's say that I think the politicians have rather whipped it up in terms of popularity. The issues really here are that people want cleaner air and they want us to go towards net zero and reduce pollution, but they don't want to implement it in a way which is against Londoners rather than for Londoners. It's being implemented in a way where it isn't doing it the right way. It should be done over a 5-year period, starting at a smaller amount of money, maybe £2.50, and then rising up to £12.50 over the period of time. That wouldn't see the spike in prices of compliant second-hand vehicles that those on lower incomes are trying to buy at the moment to replace their non-compliant vehicles. And then the second part of it is to take the entire amount of money and reapply it to look after those who are most vulnerable and those businesses that are most affected. If that had been done, and that's what we've suggested to Sadiq Khan from the Climate Party, we wouldn't be having this problem.
It's due to come in then, Ed, on August the 29th. So that's a month away, not long at all for people to prepare. Do you think, therefore, that the Mayor of London should look at delaying this expansion, still do it, but delay it and communicate more with people?
Right. I think certainly he should get out there and consult with a number of those parties that are being affected. So both people, some of the organisations you've mentioned already, some of the councils that were involved in the legal action, and those councils like my own, I'm a councillor in Buckinghamshire, that surround the area. Get out, talk to people a bit more in a cooperative sense and try and get something that's going to work for everybody. I'm not sure that having no introduction, or let's say delaying the introduction, is the right thing, but making the introduction less of a cliff edge for everyone. You know, it's such a cliff edge. I was out on the campaign trail in the Uxbridge recent by-election, meeting up with a local business owner called Raj. He was polishing up his 5 minibuses that he was then going to sell at a loss, shut his business and go on the dole. And that's because of the cliff edge of this policy. It's not about it coming in. It's not even about the date of it coming in. It's about the cliff edge that would have changed his business overnight and would have effectively made it unprofitable instantly. So he was selling things at a loss. So I don't think that he should be delaying it, but I think he should look at the cliff edge that he's creating for people as it comes in.
And going further than that, the AA is saying perhaps he should also look at what Birmingham and Oxford have done in terms of establishing their schemes. Now, do we know what the difference would be if that was adopted for outer London, for instance?
Oh gosh, I'm not familiar and on top of what Birmingham and Oxford are doing, to be honest with you.
Right.
I think that what we're saying is there's good examples out there of how things may work a bit better, and we should be looking at those. And it's all about consultation, although to some extent these things always come as you get closer to the date of implementation. A consultation is always run by a council on its way through. There's then input coming in, and then actually people, they throw their arms up in horror when you get nearer the date of implementation. It's the same on schemes for development of almost anything. But what that means, though, in this case, is to have your ears open and look at a collaborative approach. Get people round the table.
And one of the details is that, Auto Trader has established that to get a 2016 car, which would be compliant, there's now a £3,000 premium to buy even second-hand. So would one of the ways to ameliorate this be actually to increase the amount on the scrappage scheme, for instance?
Yes, absolutely. Look, I've even got a personal example. I drive the cheapest electric car you can buy. So it's about £5,000 for my Nissan Leaf, quite old. But as soon as this scheme came in, my Nissan Leaf went up by £2,000. And so people that be trying to buy my cheap electric car would at the same time find their own cars have gone down in value, of course, and they can't get as much money for theirs. So the gap becomes even bigger. So, yes, the scrappage scheme is part of it. But I think that the number one thing is to take all of the money that is going to be earned between 100 to 300 million and reapply it to look after all of those small businesses, to look after those people who are most vulnerable. And if the best way to do that is expanding the scrappage scheme, which I understand Sadiq Khan has anyway expanded today in terms of both the people that can get it who are on benefits and the size of the small businesses that can get it. But to expand that and make it work better for everybody would definitely be the right thing to do. After all, the aim is cleaner air for us all.
Yeah.
The aim is less pollution. We're not against that. What we want to do is to make sure that people aren't hurt by it while it's introduced.
And this ruling comes just 24 hours after we were warned of global boiling. I mean, some people are saying this is very dramatic, totally over the top. What would you say to them?
Well, whether the term global boiling itself is over the top, I'm not sure. But in terms of the cliff edge we're coming to on climate change, we are coming there. Look, take an analogy of World War II. Churchill said to us during World War II, for years before World War II started, there is time for us to act now while the enemy is weak and we are strong and our chance of success is certain. Or we wait until the enemy is strong, we are weak, and our chance of success is very uncertain. Right now, we could act definitely on climate change and solve it if we go for it. If we wait another 5, 6, 7 years, the enemy, climate change, will be so much stronger, it'll be so difficult to do. But let's add to that, there's a massive opportunity here commercially. I can't understand when you hear Jacob Rees-Mogg and Michael Gove and Rishi Sunak talking about rowing back on green policies. Look, 150 countries have already launched themselves on it. We've got a massive 269 billion investment by the Americans in it. It is the new industrial revolution. Britain has offshored its industry for so many years. For 40 years, we don't make anything anymore. Hence sticky inflation, no money to invest in the NHS. We've got to get rid of inflation, get money to invest in all of our services. We've got to make stuff and sell it. This new industrial revolution, pull forward our targets by 2 decades. Let's get it done early and make money for Britain.